to even affecting Muslims in this society, that they have become confused and have fallen into these beliefs and these attitudes. They see these goals and these morals that are outlined as this is the ideal, and they have come to buy into that, and have come to devalue their own Islam based upon something that is worth less than their own Islam. The bottom line is not to be deceived by these external and proclaimed goals and ideals. The true value of any system is the outcome of that system once it is implemented in its entirety, both individually and on a societal level. There is no system that has had the success in both of those domains, both in a personal level and a societal level, to achieve justice, to achieve equality, to achieve happiness, and to achieve peace, than the system that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us in Islam. But we as Muslims are entirely unaware of who we are and what we have. So this topic today gives us a glimpse on what we are missing out on. We are the first people to benefit once we throw out our identity crisis and realize that the most important and noble and honorable identity that anyone can ever adopt is that identity of being a Muslim, than one who submits to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How could somebody have a better system that they implement than the one that was created by the creator of the heavens and the earth and the knower of all things? For us to be able to understand the world that we live in, we have to do these different studies. And increasingly, we begin to do these studies on the way that we conduct things, and we find that we're doing this wrong and we're doing this wrong, and the thing that we believed is right, it turned out that it's wrong. And we are able to expose our flaws one by one. But then when you have a manual from the Creator, from the Most High, from the All-Knower, then there is no need for these kinds of things to show us what is really right and what is really wrong. But unfortunately, we have become so deceived that we have turned entirely away. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us two important advices. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu dkhulu fi silmi kaffa. O you who believe, enter into Islam in its entirety. Don't enter part by part. Don't enter part by part. Don't do that which is... now if you have two things that are conflicting, you have Islam and then you have a society. And then those don't go like this, that one of them completes the other one. There is some crossover in which society says to do something and Islam says to do something else. So don't be the person who would say that this is, I'll go with Islam only as far as it goes. So once Islam has entered into the domain of society, once it has come to conflict, then that part of Islam gets chopped off. We should be, on the other hand, one who realizes that the morality that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught us and the ideals that are found in Islam, those are what should be implemented and adopted and believed over any man-made rules or man-made norms. And Islam has the answer for those things. Islam has the solution for society's ills. And if Islam is not going to be implemented in a society, the people in that society who adopt Islam, no matter if that society goes against what they goes against the Islamic morals and ideals that are found in Islam, then that person will still be successful within that society. So we need to understand what Islam's role is, what the role of faith is, and the role that Islam plays in civilization, and then what our commitment is to that faith and civilization. And this was put beautifully in a lecture in one of the khutbahs that was given on social equality in the ESNA conference. And it was where faith was defined according to the Quran. What is faith in itself? We tend to think of faith as something that is separate from morality, something that is separate from society, as something only attached to individual morality and beliefs. But then what is faith according to Islam? It is not some rules or regulations and laws, rituals and traditions. True faith is belief and action. Islam stands for pure and sincere faith in Allah, the Lord and Master of the universe, and righteous actions that build healthy and wholesome culture and civilization. Someone came to the Prophet ﷺ and asked him, what is righteousness? He asked him about faith. So the Prophet ﷺ recited him the ayah of righteousness. ليس البر أن تولوا وجوهكم قبل المشرق والمغرب ولكن البر من آمن بالله, and so on and so forth. And the Prophet ﷺ recited him to the ayah of righteousness. It is not righteousness that you turn your faces towards east or west, but it is righteousness to believe in Allah and the last day, the angels and the book and the messengers, to spend of your substance out of love for Him, for your kin, for orphans, for the needy, for the wayfarer, for those who ask, and for the ransom of slaves, to be steadfast in prayer and practice regular charity, to fulfill the contracts which you have made, and to be firm and patient in pain or suffering and adversity, throughout all periods of panic. Such are the people of truth, the God-fearing. This was the description of faith. Then more than half of these descriptions of faith, of what faith is, apply to what a society is, and to culture and to civilization. There is no person that can practice faith, and there is no society that can implement faith, except that social justice would be increased in that person, and the humanity of that person would increase, and the success in this world and the hereafter of that person or that society would increase. So we need to take this message that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us and understand it and implement it and translate it into actions. This ayah is called Ayatul Birr, the ayah of righteousness, and this occurs in 20 different times in its different in the different forms of the word. It means in different areas as obedience to Allah, charity, doing good deeds, respect and kindness to parents, care of other relatives, and fulfilling the vows and commitments. And indeed, Al-Barr is one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it was a quality that was ascribed to the angels, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called them kiramim barara. This ayah revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina when some hypocrites and non-believers wanted to engage Muslims in the dispute over the issue of the Qibla. They told them, how come you are facing Mecca now while you are facing Jerusalem before? Why did you change the direction of your prayers? Does this mean that your prayers were wrong before? And all these years you prayed in vain. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered these people who looked at something trivial that was seemingly important. They said that this is a requirement for prayer, that you face the right Qibla. So now you got nothing out of your prayer because your Qibla was in the wrong direction. All those years of praying, were you praying wrong? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered this in the Quran. He said, the fools among the people will say, what has turned them from one Qibla to the other, to the one which they were used? Say, to Allah belongs the east and the west. He guides whom He wills to a way that is straight, to the Sirat al-Mustaqim. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed Ayatul Birr, the ayah of righteousness. That righteousness is not to turn your face to the east nor the west. It is not these trivial things, and it is not these things that are just meant to make an organization in the deen and in your ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the point is the actions that result as a consequence of the proper obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The belief in Allah, and justice and kindness to others, and respect where respect is deserved. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that we should focus our attention on those things. So that is what righteousness is, that is what faith is. in itself. And this faith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, this faith that we must adopt into our lives, this faith that we must strive towards, this is what contains social justice. This is what contains the true system of balance and equality in this world. These are the qualities that one must have. Iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, strong faith in Allah, His prophets and His guidance. To believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala above anything else. To believe in the Prophet ﷺ and the guidance that Allah sent through the Prophet ﷺ above any alternative. And another part of faith that was mentioned was charity. Helping the kin, orphans, poor people, travelers, needy, people who are deprived of freedom in order to enable them to gain it. Also devotion and worship, performing regular prayers and giving regularly for good causes. Fulfilling the promises, contracts and commitments, being fair and good to all people with strong commitment to justice. Patience and perseverance, inner strength, steadfastness and discipline. This is what faith entails. Islam wants to build the individuals and the civilization on these principles. That is the goal of Islam. These principles must be integrated into our personality, and we must build the social order, the civil society on these principles. People do have different personalities, and you study in personality psychology. There's different people with different personalities. And people have a predisposition to act in one way, and a different person has a predisposition to act in another way. People have different natures. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh was a different person than Umar radiallahu anh. In personalities, they seem to be opposites. But once Islam was added to this personality or to that personality, both of those personalities became great and made a huge impact on the world that we live in today. So Islam becomes added to anything, it makes it better. Righteousness becomes added to anything, it makes it better. So this is what faith is. So what is civilization? Is civilization high-rise buildings, big highways, great factories and malls? Is it having sports stadiums, entertainment centers and music halls? Is it big business, banks, stock markets, armies, tanks, machine guns, rockets, etc.? Is it TV, radio, faxes, internet? Are these things civilization? Civilization is not just material progress. Civilization is that human beings act like humans. The true civilization is love, kindness, charity, politeness, good behavior, generosity, peace, justice, and fairness. And true civilization, if these things are civilization, then those things cannot exist properly and entirely without faith. If you try to achieve civilization by a means other than faith, then you will get outcomes that defy what the true purpose, even if you had good intentions to begin with. Even if, let's say, the founding fathers had the best intentions to begin with. There is no system to achieving true civilization that is better than Islam. As we said, we must judge a set of morals and goals and ideals that the societies run on based upon the outcome if those things are implemented. And as we said, Islam, once it was implemented historically, led to the greatest civilizations that existed, led to the greatest social justice, in which just shortly during the generation of the Prophet ﷺ, after the Prophet ﷺ passed away, they couldn't find people to give charity to. They could not find people to give charity to because everybody's needs were taken care of. This was the social justice that people are looking for, and this is the social justice found in Islam. But then, the society that we live in nowadays, where is the social equality? Where we have been going through times of recession and economic downturn and all of these things, and debt has been increasing. If you look at the wealth of the richest 20 or 15 people or 10, the richest 15 people, I believe, in the world combined, just a few years ago, before all of this economic downturn, all their wealth combined would equal to $2 trillion. You fast forward till today, those same people, their wealth combined equals $40 trillion, 20 times fold. And this is the pattern that we see that is emerging. The blinds that have been put on everyone are disappearing. We understand that true civilization and just society is really not being found in the systems that we have nowadays. True civilization requires faith. Without faith, the civilization becomes shallow, lopsided, self-destructive, contradictory, and harmful. But faith also must be true, authentic, and based on divinely related principles in order to cause success. Civilizations are made by human beings. There are all kinds of civilizations, but the civilization that is based on true and authentic faith brings peace, happiness, and harmony in the world. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله كما ينبغي لجلال وجهه وعظيم سلطانه وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. My dear brothers and sisters, Islam is a faith that inspires civilization. When Islam emerged on the stage of human history, the world was in deep darkness. Religions had lost their authentic message. Morality was at its lowest levels. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Allahu waliyyu alladhina amanu yukhrijuhum min al-dhulumati ila an-nur walladhina kafaru awliya'uhum at-taghut yukhrijunahum min an-nur ila al-dhulumat ulaika ashabun nar hum fiha khalidun. Allah is the friend. Allah is the friend of those who believe. He takes them out of the many darknesses and brings them into light. And those who disbelieve, those who choose a way other than the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willingly, their friend is taghut, is injustice and oppression and transgression. Transgressing beyond any lines of reason, transgressing beyond any lines of morality. Where does this lead them? It takes them out of light and brings them into darkness. Indeed, those are the dwellers of hellfire eternally. Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what will take us, is who will take us from darkness and take us into light. Whether we implement it on a personal level or whether it is on a societal level. How many people do we have that really implemented Islam and were in a place of darkness and they say that Islam made my life worse? Or even if they were living comfortably and they abandoned things to embrace Islam and to apply Islam, they might have had everything in this world, but they felt that they had nothing. And we hear this story countless times, and several people here could tell you this from their personal experience, that they had everything but they did not have Islam. And once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed them to have Islam, going from having everything but feeling they had nothing, to having from this world and having from the hereafter, and being contented in what they have, whether it was more or whether it was less than what they had before. At the time before Islam, there was tyranny, social justice, and immorality spread all around the world. Amongst the worst situations was the situation of the Arabs. People fought and killed one another over trivial disputes. Women were considered property. People killed their own daughters. Society was divided among tribal lines, and racism was considered what is the social norm and socially acceptable. The whole world was in the grips of social, economic, and political disorder. There was no one who could save humanity but Allah sent the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his last and final prophet, to humanity. Allah gave him his message. He inspired and motivated people and gave them right direction and set a good example. In a short period of time, his followers became the leaders of humanity. And for more than 1,000 years, they were leading the world in culture and civilization. From every direction, people came to learn from them until those very same things that led them from darknesses into light were abandoned. And then they were led by that transgression on those orders and the boundaries set by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, once again from light into darkness. So now this at the very least will be able to explain to us and to make us understand in this short khutbah the value of what we have as Muslims, the value of the Islam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, the value of Islamic identity. Our identity as a Muslim is the most valuable and honorable identity that we have. If it is properly adopted and understood, it is something to be extremely proud of. And this is something that others are very much afraid of, and they try to attack the image of Islam. And they try to make Islam appear as something that it is not. And so many people are in confusion, and they are in personal conflict. They are in personal conflict. And they don't know, and this identity is something they have a very loose grasp on. So in order for us, this is the first khutbah, inshallah there will be others to explain further. But in order for us to really appreciate and value this identity, we must begin to learn about it and understand it, understand what is the goal of it. From this khutbah we understood that true civilization is at its best when Islam is implemented in that civilization. And if we have a problem with this belief, then that means we need to learn more so that we can achieve certainty and know that truly that this is the truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is truly what will take anybody from darkness to light and give anyone success in this life and the hereafter. One of the tenets of a socially equal society is that everyone must have equal opportunity to succeed. And Islam is that equal opportunity to succeed. No matter who you are, no matter what your situation is, success is within your grasp. Contentment and happiness is within your grasp. And no matter where you are, and no matter what you have, and no matter what you drive, and no matter where you live, that success, that happiness, that contentment, you will never find it without adopting Islam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us that realization. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to have that realization and lead us into acceptance of that realization and implementation of that realization, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us success in this world and contentment in this world and success and contentment in the world hereafter. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فاستغفروه. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معصيتك، ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك، ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا، ومتعنا اللهم بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقواتنا أبدا ما أحييتنا، واجعله الوارث منا، واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا، وانصرنا على من عادانا، ولا تجعل مصيبتنا في ديننا، ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا ولا إلى النار مصيرنا، ولا تسلط علينا بذنوبنا من لا يخافك فينا ولا يرحمنا، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين، يا عزيز يا كريم، يا رب العرش العظيم. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين. وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه وآلائه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. وأقيموا الصلاة.